Welcome back, everybody, to Hot Mic on WDY Extra, KSFL, and Inform.com. I'm pleased to be joined by our next guest, the radio voice. You probably recognize his voice. Not a lot of people get to see your nice, smiling face every day. Sam Neidermann. I mean, unless you watch on the behind. You guys got cameras in the studio, right?
We got cameras in the studio. We got cameras during the broadcast of our radio broadcast, and then I'm on WDAY Sunday nights.
Oh, yeah. You do obviously the coaches
football
show.
and basketball shows. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that been going?
It's been great, man. Excited for this year, but appreciate you having me, man. This is I can't believe we've already burned through the summer and fall camp starts on Monday.
It feels like we just wrapped up baseball season, like with NDSU baseball.
Yep.
And now football season's here.
Yeah, the summer goes by fast, but it's exciting. I think it's going to be an awesome season. Very unique Bison football season, one that we haven't seen before. And, gosh, that Colorado game, it's juicy. It is a juicy contest. It's going to be one of the biggest Bison games ever.
Over, under on how many celebrities are there at that game on a Thursday night.
Eric, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, he's got to pull out a few of them, right? It's opening night of the college football season.
It's a standalone game.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's somebody else playing, like maybe some D3, D2 schools, but standalone game on ESPN, 7 o'clock kick. I'm gonna probably say at least 10.
I'd put it at. I'm gonna go a little less than that. I'll go 5.5.
Okay.
I could see the ESPN camera shot where they come back from a break, and then it's Lil Wayne, who I think was performing at the North Dakota State Fair, by the way, this week.
Yeah,
right?
he was.
Lil Wayne and,
The Rock.
A few other. Yeah, The Rock was there for one of those.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg might have been there. So, yeah, he might have his cast of characters, Deion Sanders, which would be pretty surreal to see all of those guys at an NDSU
And
football
I don't know
game.
if you saw the viral tweet of when Dom asked Deion what do you think of the opponent? And he said they're darn good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little mad at his athletic director for scheduling. Give me a cupcake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah. No, I think we should all be thankful that we have this game because you don't see it that often these days for NDSU. Obviously, since Iowa, the FBS game has been a rarity, and nobody wants to play the Bison. That's just the truth of the matter. Everybody knows that it's a lot more to lose than there is to gain if you're playing NDSU and you're an FBS opponent. But thankfully, we got a good one against Arizona. NDSU falls a little short in that game 2 years ago. But to have this one, which has been on the books for a minute, and as Deion Sanders referenced, my gosh, I look up and this is no cakewalk. This is no layup, as he said. This is North Dakota State. This is a brand in college football. It's a national championship caliber program and a physical program. I think the Bison, in a lot of ways, are going to have a great chance to exemplify what they're all about, which is the physicality at the line of scrimmage, toughness, grit, a blue-collar attitude, guys who have been homegrown, developed in this region, might not have had all the stars by their name, might not have been recruited heavily by some of these high major schools, but they come to a program like NDSU, you buy into the formula, and then you turn into a stud. And going up against Colorado, where it's kind of the flashy, it's the new thing. The watch, right, for Shadur. There's a lot of noise around Colorado, but can they back it up? We'll see. I think NDSU is a lot of, back your smack with how you play on the field. And that's Deion. He's a showman. He's the greatest showman in college football right now.
Yep. And
there's nobody more entertaining. So,
and the Buffs are favored by 8.5 right now, but that doesn't mean anything in college football.
No, I mean, NDSU's not paying attention to that.
They don't
either.
care.
Yeah.
Neither does Colorado. Colorado doesn't care that they're 8.5 point favorites.
Both these teams want to go out and get a win on opening night. And I think the opportunity for NDSU, if you win this game, you're sending shockwaves throughout college football.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to absolutely break college football as far as the first night of the season. That's going to be talked about on every primetime show the following morning, any big network, ESPN, FS1, whatever it is. More people than just outside of our Fargo community are going to be taking notice of what happened. And that's what's pretty cool. It's a chance.
Yeah.
It's a chance for NDSU to get back to the forefront and kind of plant a flag and say, hey, we made our mark on the beginning of this college football season. And, our way, which is kind of the old school way in a lot of senses, can still work. And it kind of goes up against the new school of what Colorado has built up over the last year plus. And I think it would be a pretty amazing moment for Bison fans. If you're making the trip, I think you're going to be in for a good one, and
You almost could make
it
a
could be
weekend.
history.
You almost could make a weekend out of it with
Yeah.
being on a Thursday night. Okay, Denver's there. Maybe the Rockies are in town that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a baseball game. I know the Broncos aren't. I think NFL preseason is done by then.
Mm-hmm.
And you could make a weekend trip in Colorado.
It's beautiful. I've never been to Boulder, but Denver is nice. I've been able to check that out a couple of times, and it's just, Folsom Field looks gorgeous. It's sunken in. I think we're going to get a lot of Bison gold in the crowd, and it's going to be a big backdrop for a game for sure.
I'm on record by saying this since 2010 because I don't really know much about the Bison before that. Is Travis Hunter the best player the Bison will ever face?
Oh, that is a really good question, Eric.
He's the only two-way player, too.
Sure. I think that's been brought up, and we were actually just talking about this today or yesterday. Shadur Sanders, is he the best quarterback that NDSU has seen in a game? I mean, the guy's going to be an NFL draft pick. He could be a first-round pick. Some people are saying he could be one of the first quarterbacks, if not the first quarterback off the board. Yeah, they got talent. Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter, those guys are bona fide blue-chip players. They have the 5 stars by their name. They've been loyal to Dion. They played with him at Jackson State. They follow him to Colorado. They are the crux of that team. And NDSU's got to find a way to contain him on that opening night. There's no doubt about that. You got to keep him in the pocket. You got to get some pressure on him. They're going to throw. The thing that might be surprising about Colorado to a lot of Bison fans, if you're not aware, these guys did not run at all last year. And Shadur Sanders had a nice year throwing. He passed for a school record over 3,200 yards. We know he was under duress. He took the most amount of sacks at all of FBS, but they did not run. They had no semblance of a run game. Very bad offensive line. They've tried to put that back together through the portal. So I think that's an area for NDSU to be able to exploit. Can you get home? Can you disrupt an offensive line that's going to be playing its first game together? Big opportunity for a defensive front for NDSU that I really like. I think there's a lot of depth in that defensive line room, and they're going to have a big year production-wise, hopefully, especially from a pass rushing standpoint. But it's going to be a task to shut down those two, especially on the outside against Travis Hunter when he's playing at wideout. Somebody's going to have to step up to the plate and get in his grill and make life uncomfortable. But that's why you play the game. It'll be a great challenge for sure.
A lot of people have said if NDSU can run the ball, which I think they have an advantage on the offensive line compared to Colorado's defensive line, NDSU and can control the clock, and you keep Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders off the field, they have a great shot to win that game.
They do, yeah. They do, and I think there's a potential advantage for NDSU with the trenches, like you said, Eric, but also with some of the veteran guys that you've got who will be running the show. Cam Miller's going to be coming out. The guy's racked up more than 40 career starts at this point. It's hard to believe he's in his 5th year as a Bison, and he's been starting for pretty much every single one of those years, right? Comes in, starts as a freshman during the playoffs in the COVID year, 21. He takes over midway through the year, guides the Bison to a national championship, and he's been the starter ever since. So, yeah, it's a big matchup advantage. They'll have a chance there to dictate the clock. That's one of the ingredients if you want to win.
So I'd be remiss not to ask you, because you're an Indiana guy.
Yeah.
NDSU basketball is going to play Butler at the famous Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yes.
What do you make of that? Are you going to be excited to go back home?
Oh, man, I was jumping up and down. Yeah, I was ecstatic when I learned about that game. That's an awesome opportunity. Hinkle is one of the most historic venues in all of college basketball, if you ask me. It's one of the best that Indiana has to offer. And you're talking about a team out of the Big East. Like, the Big East might be the best league in America when it comes to college basketball. NDSU's played Big East opponents throughout the last couple of years. That's a fun one. That's a great matchup for NDSU. I'm excited to come back home. I know we'll have a lot of the Neidermann family there wearing the green and gold. So it'll be a good homecoming, and hopefully we can pull off the victory.
So you graduated from Indiana, correct?
Correct, yes.
What sets Hinkle apart from Assembly Hall? Because everybody says Assembly Hall is like, it's an iconic venue.
Yeah, I'm biased. I have Assembly Hall as the best of the state. Mackey Arena for Purdue is probably the loudest at times. It's very lethal. There's like a harshness that comes with Mackey Arena. But then Hinkle is just like you can breathe in the history when you walk out of the floor. It's neat. Like if you see the movie Hoosiers, state championships are played in Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. I would say Assembly is louder, more hostile. It is a cathedral of college basketball. It's very steep with the 17,000. Hinkle is kind of like a little more like Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas type of vibe.
Which is a great venue,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, just sort of the light. You know it. Yeah,
I know. I've been there.
It's definitely like Allen, as you're a KU guy, Eric. So, yeah, that's kind of the comp I would give it. And Assembly's a little more different. You get a little more light into Hinkle. And, yeah, they're all great, though. We love our gyms in Indiana.
So, before I know you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, what is their record to end this? Like, to Anthony Richardson coming back. He looked great in the games in the 4 or 5 games he played last year. What do they finish this season? I think they make the playoffs.
I'm gonna go optimistic. Wow, I don't know if I believe this with all my heart, but I'm gonna go optimistic. I'm gonna say 9-8 and a wild card berth. Yeah,
there you go.
9-8 and a wild card berth. I think Houston will probably win the division with C.J. Stroud and the weapons they've added on offense. But hopefully we could unseat the Jags. I think the Titans are in for a down year. But if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, I like the potential there. I think Ant's our guy. Shane Steichen and him, to have them together for a full year, it could pay dividends. So let me go 9-8, and we sneak into the playoffs. Hopefully can jockey out some of those 9-8 type of AFC North teams like the Steelers or the Browns, who are always hovering around that wild card spot. But, yeah, I'll go 9-8, playoff berth, and continue the rebuild of the horseshoe.
And last question before I let you go. How jealous are you of Rickoff that he gets to go to Washington and Alaska over Thanksgiving?
Hey, you know what? I have a good idea of where we're going to be for Thanksgiving for NDSU men's, which I think will be a cool spot too. But yeah,
so you guys get to go. You're not going to be like don't tell me you're going to be in Hawaii or something like that.
I got to keep it a secret. I'm not sure when it'll go public, but we'll be at a good spot. But yeah, those are 2 good travel destinations for Andy. I know he likes the national parks and kind of the sightseeing, so I'll have a chance to see the last frontier, which is pretty neat, going out to Alaska. But I'm just thankful I got to go home to Indy. That's all I need. We can play the rest of the games.
That's got to be the highlight of the season. You're going home to Indy.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing, man. So the Butler game is top of the list for sure.
Hopefully the Bison can pull it off.
I would love that, man. I'd probably be crying a tear of joy or 2. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, Sam, I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah.
I'll see you in about a month at Colorado.
We'll be in the trenches, man. I can't wait.
We'll be on the plane going to Colorado and get ready for prime time.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. It's always fun hanging out. Appreciate you having me on, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too. Sam Neidermann, when we come back on Hot Mic, we'll have Corey Provis, TV voice of the Minnesota Twins. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV, and Inform.com.